Nick, so give me where you got the idea from for Windmill Massacre.
The idea came from the fact that I'm actually pretty scared of windmills. I was born on a street called Sol Windmill Street, and there was this great ominous windmill like 500 meters away from home. And yeah, as a child, it kind of freaked me out because it was squeaking all the time and squeaking, and the paint was all off, and it was. So if it's standing there in night and in the dark, it's really like an ominous thing to me.
Now, somebody mentioned earlier that it was actually folklore, a sort of Dutch folklore story about the miller. Is that I'd never heard of this before. I mean,
but I thought the story about a miller who sells his soul to the devil to keep the blades turning, wind or no wind. I thought that was just brilliant, and we used that and the fact that in the 18th century, windmills were very fire hazardous, so lightning would strike them a lot, and people would burn. So the miller and his family, a lot of deaths happened like that. So I combined these things, and it became this story.
I particularly like it. I think I mentioned already the fact that it has that really nice nostalgic feel about it. You're going back to Amicus, Devil's Nightmare. There's all these sort of like threads going through it. The people on a coach, being taken off. The sinners. They're going to be shown their best. So I mean, Did you do that on purpose? The whole nostalgia side of it.
Absolutely. Chris Mitchell and I, the screenwriter, and I. We really approached it like an old Hammer horror film, where the arena, the thing that they are battling against is actually themselves and not, but it's persona through a windmill in this case. And I wanted to make it larger than life. I'm a big fan of grim fairy tales. I read them to my son as well, so I hope to give him a little bit of my horror thing and he loves it. He totally loves it. But there are really scary stories. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about casting.
Yeah.
Here's gorgeous Charlotte here.
Yeah,
how did you choose her? Did you go through the audition process, or how did this all happen?
I didn't really. This is sort of the first time that's happened where I got a phone call and they said, "Oh, they want you for this," and that's why it all felt really, really surreal. Because I was just like, because I couldn't think why you'd want me to do it, and I was just going, okay, this is really surreal. So it didn't actually feel real until I landed in Amsterdam and thought, oh God, okay, this is happening. But I think you saw me.
I saw you in Broadchurch. And I thought immediately, there was a gut feeling, and I went with it. And I said,
glad you did. Thank you.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. I'm pleased that you're in it.
The nice thing was you were so open to chat about it. And also everyone else really deeply cared about it as well. We'd all, and I mean, sometimes it took ages because we'd all have our say, but we would all go, oh, well, how about this? And we'd all really get involved.
I've got this vision of you all sort of getting on the bus and sort of like driving off and having this really great time.
Yeah.
I mean, was that really the reality, or did you?
Yeah, that was
the reality. We did actually have a really nice time. The bus was my favourite because we were all together and we all just mucked around and had such a laugh. We just had some amazing rehearsals. I think Nick would get quite frustrated because we'd do the rehearsal, but we'd just do our version of it and just completely joke around and take the piss. And then Nick would come and go, okay, guys, can we do a proper rehearsal now? But like saying it really nicely. And we but it made a really good atmosphere on set, and we did do it properly.
And also the bus, that was something that at a certain point everybody was fed up with, because it's such a cramped space, and I wasn't allowed in the bus because there was the cameraman, there was the sound guy. But when I looked at the monitor outside, and you were doing the scene, and I glanced over to the bus, and then in the front of the bus there was this clutch of fat male asses with hair, and everybody was just like cramped completely. It was so funny to look at.
Yeah,
but when the bus actually was thrown into the water, we were all like, okay, well, thank God for that.
Thank God for that. Let's go to the shed.
Yeah.
That took quite a while.
Yeah,
Getting that bus.
I mean, the miller himself is quite a great mythological character.
Thank you.
Really, I mean, he thought, wow, no one's thought of this before. I mean, it's really, really well done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the search of that was really difficult because in the beginning, he was in the concept teaser he was a real man with a mask, but yeah, the story developed more in a heightened reality kind of sense, and so I was researching the miller in going to these really shady sites and trying to figure out how I'm going to do that, and at a certain point in the middle of the night. And this is actually this happened. That I woke up from a nightmare and I was thinking that the miller was standing next to my bed, and I almost assaulted my wife because I thought she was the miller. And at a certain point she said, "No, no, no! I'm your wife! I'm your wife!" And I was like, this is good. This is good. This is the way
I'll use it.
I'll use it.
I mean, where are we with the sort of like the Dutch horror film industry? I mean, is there one? Does it exist?
No.
Are you it? You know,
Well,
coming through?
Windmill is it.
Dick Maas is it, absolutely. He's the one who made the most genre films in Holland, so I'm definitely not at that phase. And also, for me, I produced a haunted house film called Dead End in 2006, right after film school, and we did that in Dutch. And you put so much effort into it, and then there are not so many people who are, in the end of the day, are going to watch it, and it then only stays in Holland. And horror is not really a genre in Holland that people like, except for The Conjuring and for these big American films. But
I mean, you've set it up for sequels. I mean, is it something you've considered, or is your next film going to be in the genre again?
Yeah, but in the sci-fi genre. I want to do a psychological film thriller about, but set in a sci-fi setting. The script is already developed, and as a producer, I would definitely like to do a sequel to The Windmill, if that even is a possibility. But I would like it to have a director like me, where you can really chew your way into it and try to do your best. I'm actually kind of fed up with windmills as a director myself. Now, I've challenged that. I'm the Don Quixote now, and I'm going to move on. But as a producer, I would, and there is a possibility. Well.